Good evening. I'm Nathan Lambert alongside Riley Price and Coach Matt Thacker for the Coach's Corner Football Show on 93.7 FM The Mix. And we are recording live at Pat Chicago Dogs in Syracuse. Tonight we will discuss the Goshen game and tonight's game at Northridge with Coach Thacker. We will also have a discussion with players Reidenbach and Alex Dibble while enjoying some great food and drink from our host, Pat Chicago's Dog. Welcome, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Always good to be here.
It is. You know, it's great food. You get to come here, get to see the great staff, and we get to talk some Wawasee Warrior football.
Yeah, it always brightens my day.
Well, Coach, let's jump right into last Friday. Big win for the Warriors, getting the Warhawk Trophy 36-7 over Goshen. Coach, tell me a little bit about the prep that went into the game last week.
I'm still thinking about that chili cheese dog I just had. That's really good stuff. Yeah, the onion rings are unbelievable here.
Taco fries?
Taco fries, you know, I didn't know anything about taco fries until Braden Pike, and you can't beat them. You're absolutely right, Riley. They're amazing.
They're fantastic. If you've ever had them, come out to Pat's and try them out.
Yep. Chili cheese fries are pretty good too. You can't knock
I was just about to say, I was like, I prefer the chili cheese.
Yeah.
I like a little bit of nacho cheese on them.
Yeah, that
You
nacho
can leave.
cheese. Yeah.
You can get out.
I can leave.
I'm kind of with Nathan on those too. I mean,
All right.
The taco fries they're good, but that chili cheese, I don't know. It's tough to beat that. So,
my wife that likes the bacon and cheese fries, just bacon and cheese though. She does not like anything else on them.
you got to respect the bacon. You have to respect the bacon.
I'm going to take an extra cholesterol pill when I get home after.
Just talking, I think our cholesterol went up.
Well, Coach, let's get into this Goshen game. You know, obviously big win, and we talked, before we went on air on Friday night, and we were talking to you guys, and it kind of seemed like there was this wave of confidence of, hey, we can do this. We know we can do this, and we're ready for this game.
Well, we've talked the last couple of weeks getting out of the first quarter, and, we did that against Plymouth, played a great first half, and played a great, half of the third quarter. So now the next step is let's play 4 quarters. We were able to play complementary football, with defense and offense and special teams wise. I mean, defense, big kudos to Coach Zapes and the defensive staff, come out. I believe it was the first or second play. They fumble it. We were awfully, well, I wasn't, but the defense was awfully close to having breakfast in the morning because, we get a turnover for points defensively, pick six or a fumble return for a touchdown. They're getting breakfast in the morning. So we were awfully close to that. We were awfully close to getting donuts too, that's what I really was counting on. Donuts in the morning. The donuts in the morning, and when you put up a goose egg defensively, that's always awesome. But it just seemed like that spark of the fumble, getting a short field, and then scoring. And then getting the ball back pretty quickly, scoring again. We did a surprise onside, almost got the ball back again.
I mean, he was this close.
It wasn't far. So it was, just trying to teach our guys to when you have another team down, you need to keep them down. And so, trying to develop that killer mentality and. That's why you do things like that when you get up a quick 14. So, it was great to see the kids just have fun, relax, and just let it fly. When I say let it fly, we didn't throw the ball once.
I was going to say I'm going through the stats before this, and I'm going, okay, 0 offensive passing yards on 0 attempts and 0 punts. That's a pretty offensive, great offensive day for you.
Yeah, if we talk about being efficient, we were definitely efficient. We didn't really have big gashing plays, but we had plays that kept us on the field, whether they were 3-4 yard gains. Very rarely did we have a negative. I don't think we did have a negative gain, but I don't think we had a gain under 1 or 2 yards. Maybe had a gain at right to line of scrimmage, but I don't think so. I think everything was a positive yards gain. So if you do that, with what we do, and it just wears on you. And I think the drive in the third quarter where we ran 23 plays, and it was like 12 and a half minutes.
Over a quarter of football,
Yeah.
you held possession.
Yeah, I mean, and
That is so impressive.
They ran 7 plays in the second half. I mean, when you can do that and keep your defense fresh, sometimes with the offense that we run, your offense is your best defense, and it was worked beautifully well last Friday, and it got to the point where Coach Zapes felt kind of bored on the sideline. I'm like, hey. This is the way it's supposed to be, if we can get it going. And, I think it was a big confidence boost. We ran essentially 3 plays on that drive, actually 4. We ran a play once that we hadn't ran all day, and we got it pitched to Reed, and he made a guy miss and got the first down for us. So, we converted, I think, 3 4th downs on that drive as well. So we were in a couple 4th down situations and converted all of them. I think we were 80%, 8 out of 10 on 3rd down.
Yeah, 8 out of 10 on 3rd down and 3 of 3 on 4th down.
Yeah, so it's tough to lose football games when you have those kind of percentages on 3rd and 4th down. And plus, we had I think we had 2 fumbles. I think we had 2 turnovers, 2 fumbles.
Yes, 2 fumbles.
So.
Yep.
Obviously we have things to clean up, and those would be 2 things that we need to clean up. But overall, we did win the turnover battle. I mean, I think they had 4.
They had, I believe, 3 turnovers, 3 fumbles.
So they had 3 fumbles, and we had our hands on a couple balls. We could have picked them off, but we won the turnover battle. That's huge. So when we win a game, we talk about we get helmet stickers, and we talk about the 4 team goals that we did to get to that. Obviously, the main goal is to win the game. The second one is to win the turnover battle. The third one is, win explosive plays. Excuse me. The other one is win the hidden yardage. So we were able to do 2 out of 3, and where we took those team goals from was DePaul when Coach Lynch was there, and they essentially did a study on those 3 goals. And when you win 3 out of 3, obviously it's about 98% that you win the game. When you win 2 out of those 3, it's about 67%. And when you win 1 out of 3, it's about 30 to 33% that you win the game. So we were fortunate to win 2 of those, and we came out on the right end of things. So it's not real complex, our goals. They're all team goals. So when we meet those, some guys get 4 stickers, some guys get 1. But everybody's going to get at least 1, so when we win.
So the last 2 games, there's been a little more success with the offense, and that can be attributed to some of the timing finally coming together, running this option style of offense, but also Benji Brace being in the backfield, moving from the line to the backfield, be able to run the ball. What went into that decision, and how has that just completely changed the offense?
Benji is a great team player. We needed some help on the offensive line, and Benji he sacrificed the opportunity to be in the backfield to do that. We had 4 fullbacks that we thought that we could move the ball with, and Benji was probably the thicker or the heavier of them, not necessarily the taller of the ones, but he was willing to go down and put his hand in the dirt and play offensive line. And when we were able to start playing some younger guys like Quentin Woolwine and Blake Rolston, and they started giving us some depth on the offensive line, we were able to put Benji back, honestly, where he belongs at fullback. And, he's just kind of accepted his role originally of what he was, and now he's embraced the opportunity to be back in the backfield. There's some turnovers we got to get cleaned up, but he does a great job of keeping his feet moving. It's really tough to see him and Cam. If you're at the mesh point and you have him and Cam in the line of scrimmage, and one's 2 and the other one's 32, you don't know which one has it at that point in time. And matter of fact, I don't know who has the ball sometimes between those 2. So him coming back and just being the team player that he is, and then doing the things that he's done here in the last 2 games. It's pretty impressive, and it's just a credit to him and his willingness to be the best team player he can be.
I just think back to our playing days, Nate, as former linemen. I always dreamed of carrying the ball, scoring that touchdown. So to have Benji back there as he played line, I can only imagine how he's feeling with it.
We can kind of live vicariously through him, right?
Oh, absolutely. No question about it.
Just plaster our number on the back of his jersey, and he can run in a couple times. We can live our glory days.
You're not the only one that wanted to run the ball. So,
Coach, the Warriors had 3 times the amount of offensive plays that Goshen did on Friday night.
Wow.
How does that kind of give you guys confidence going into tonight's contest against Northridge?
well, I mean, it shows that when you take away the amount of possessions or amount the other school, the other team has the ball, you limit their ability to score points. And they ran 23 total plays for the entire game.
For 31 yards.
Yes. I mean, so when you take away, usually teams average anywhere from 45 to 60, 65 plays a game. Well, 45 to 65 plays, that is a tremendous amount of opportunity to score points. And so you take about 5 or 10 of those plays and, 5 to 7 of those plays, and you're going to score points at somewhere along the line there. So when you take those away, your opportunity to score points diminishes greatly. So, and when you increase your amount of possessions and your amount of possession time, you are the one that's the benefactor of scoring points. I know it sounds like a very, very analytical answer, but it's just the truth. As far as when you hold the ball, you take away time. When you take away time, you take away scoring opportunities. We take away scoring opportunities, they don't score as much. So. If you can score when you have the ball, it plays out in your favor in the end.
Yeah, hearing the numbers like that, 300 plus yards, all of which are on the ground, to 31 yards. It's kind of like Madden numbers when you're playing out here, and it's honestly mind-boggling to hear. But with having 2 players specifically with over 100 yards, you talked about the difficulties of being able to see Benji and being able to see Cam. How does that just continue to play into the offense and to allow that other option to open up finally?
Well, at some point, we're going to be able to get it pitched to Reed or Braden or Alex or Carson or Luke, and all of a sudden they're going to be untouched to the end zone because people are going to be sick and tired of trying to stop Cam or trying to find Benji. So eventually we're going to get the ball pitched and they're going to be untouched the end zone. So, and that's just how it works. If they're going to commit to stopping Benji, then we've got to commit to Cam keeping the ball and getting out on the perimeter. Well, if they're going to commit to taking away Benji and commit to taking away Cam, then we got to get it pitched out on the perimeter. You can't take all 3 of them away. So.
I'm sitting over here looking at Reed laughing when you said find Benji Brace.
You get him behind Quentin Woolwine, and Quentin Woolwine's 6'4", 230 pounds.
He's a pretty big gentleman.
Yeah, the thing with Quentin, he just doesn't realize how big he is quite yet. And once he does, we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yeah, there's going to be some danger when you finally have somebody who understands their size in the line like that at 6'4", 230 in high school. That's impressive.
And he's only going to get thicker. And he works hard in the weight room, and Blake works hard in the weight room. It's just, and they're just scratching the surface.
With this style of offense, how does the offensive line, the steps, we always hear about, the 1-2 steps or the drop back steps in college and pro. How does that affect his, development on running this style of offense?
Well, I mean, when you're running the same 3 plays, your confidence goes up because I know where I'm supposed to go. And I can play fast and I don't have to think. And if I don't have to think, I can play fast because I can just go because I know where I'm going. I mean, we ran 0 dive 7 times in a row. Well, I know where I'm going 7 times in a row. Then we ran zone dive right and zone dive left. Well, I know where I'm going. And so when you're able to get to that point where you're playing fast and you don't have to think offensively or defensively or on special teams, football is a heck of a lot more fun. And, when you're able to repeat plays like we did, you see the confidence increase. You see the the morale boost. When you have to kind of scratch your head on the sidelines and, all right, well, we ran this once okay in practice this week. We shouldn't run it now, but we should because this is the right
it's a
play
learning
to call.
opportunity.
And it is a learning opportunity, but so we're going to give it a shot, and you'll see some parts of that play look really good by some guys, and you'll see the other parts not look so good, and that's where the play breaks down because you didn't have confidence in running that play. You thought about it too much. You didn't get off the ball quick enough and let the defensive guy get into you. So, it's high school football with young men that are 15, 16, 17, 18, sometimes 19 years old, and the more experience you have at it, the faster you're going to play. The younger you are, the more you have yet to learn, the slower you're going to play. So if we can mature faster and understand the game quicker, the faster we'll be.
Well, thank you, Coach, for talking about the Goshen game. Coming up next, we will talk to Reed Reidenbach. We'll be right back with more Coach's Corner football show on 93.7 FM The Mix. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner football show with Coach Matt Thacker on 93.7 FM The Mix. And we are here live at Pat Chicago Dogs in Syracuse. We would like to welcome Reed Reidenbach to our show. Welcome, Reed.
What's going on?
Well, we've been doing this for a couple weeks now, and I got to say, getting to know you guys, a little bit more personal has been, kind of funny. It kind of shows the culture that is being built here and how there's so many different, mindsets coming into this. And I got to tell you, Riley, some of these boys are going in some really cool fields.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see, you kind of forget that they're students, that there's still people behind them, not just the athletes in the field. So it is pretty awesome to be able to learn more about them and more about their education. So,
Reed, tell us a little bit about you and your family.
Me and my family are always on the run. I mean, me and my sister are both just sports. And
who's your sister?
My sister's Avery Reidenbach. She's a 7th grader at the middle school. And it's just nonstop throughout our whole family. We're never really home, but it's fun. I enjoy it.
What got you into playing football?
I've always loved it, but what really kind of got my drive going, I actually watched my dad's high school mixtape on the VHS. And
Classic.
Yeah, and it kind of got me all fired up, and I just kind of stuck with it and loved the game from then.
They know VHS?
I was just about to
Barely.
say, I was like, you
Just
know what that
barely.
is? Do you know what a cassette player is?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, all right. What position do you play for the Warriors?
I'm an H and a free safety.
And I believe you also do some kicking duties and punting duties, correct?
I do, yes.
A man of many talents. If you didn't play any of those positions, what would you want to play?
I'll play anywhere, but I don't know. I do enjoy receiver. I like running routes. I like snapping routes off, but I'll play anywhere.
If you could be known by 3 to 5 words as a football player, what would they be?
I'd like to think tough, fast. I don't know.
I would
About
like to
it.
add one up there that you have some hops. I would like to add hops as your
Yeah.
third, because the amount of times that I have seen you from a dead stance to jump up and get a high snap. I mean, some of these times I'm like, there's no way he's getting to it. And then,
Yeah.
nope, here you go, climbing the ladder and grabbing
Yeah,
it.
there is times where I just kind of feel like I'm floating. I'm like, okay, I need to get this punt off. Can I please hit the ground? Like,
I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know how that feels personally. I've never
I was going to say, I've
experienced
been
it.
gravity challenged for a long time now.
Over your years of playing football, what would you say is your favorite memory of the sport?
I really enjoyed. We didn't come out with the win last year, but I did enjoy the Warsaw game a lot last year. Being up at half in a game that no one expected us to even be close in. That was a blast. That was a really enjoyable game, and wish we could have pulled through, but still, it was a great memory.
What is your favorite subject at Wawasee?
I enjoy super mileage. Super mileage has been a blast this
Great
year.
class.
Oh, it's so fun.
Great class. I'll be
It's
actually coming
awesome.
back. I believe you guys are doing a reunion here not too
Yeah,
long.
we are.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
believe I'm coming back to that.
Okay.
That's amazing. That's one thing that I never did that I wish I would have is the super mileage team, because I believe still is very successful, but there's also incredibly successful when you're in school too. So what a cool thing that you do. Who's your favorite teacher at the school?
It's got to be Mr. Koblenz.
Mi-
Mr. Koblenz is cool.
He's that kind of guy that like he is so chill and so knowledgeable that you can come to him with any question, be like, "Hey, I want to
Yeah.
learn more about this," and he'll point you exactly
Yeah.
where you need to go. Mm-hmm. What is your favorite school memory? Doesn't have to be high school. It can be high school or middle school or elementary.
Honestly, I like going to other sports and like other teams around the school. I like seeing them have success. Like basketball last year had a good win at Warsaw. That was a fun game to go watch. It's fun to watch like on senior nights for them to go get a big win and stuff like that. It's cool to watch.
Kind of reciprocate that Warrior way, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after high school, do you have any plans? What do you want to do after?
I'm probably going to go study engineering. I'm not sure where at yet. Either I'm
Farther
going
up?
to kind of
What?
I'm going to stay around home or I'm debating on going far. I want to kind of go to somewhere around like out west.
Okay.
But
Any-
I'd like to study engineering.
Any school in particular out west?
Montana State is where
Montana
I'm looking.
State.
Yeah.
All right, the Bobcats,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, sir.
I've heard nothing but good things about the state of Montana. So if it's
It's just
anywhere,
beautiful.
exactly. So I can understand why it would draw you out there for sure.
So this has been a question that we've asked every week. The senior class said at the beginning of the year that they wanted to leave behind a legacy and the groundwork for the success of this program. What personally do you want to leave behind?
I'd like to just change that up a little bit. Same basis, but I'd like to be the foundation of just the rebuild of this new offense, new coach, new everything. I'd like to be known as that first senior class to go through for something that could be great someday.
What gets you motivated to be able to do something like that?
Kind of feel like there's no other option. I mean, I feel like there's all the underclassmen are constantly looking up to the seniors. When I was an underclassman, I looked up to the seniors, and I just kind of feel like it's just the right thing to do.
Now, this next question, we have had a broad range of answers and a lot of genres, but what does your pregame playlist look like?
It's some rap, some rock. I've been on rock recently just because it's a little bit different. It's just a little bit different than rap.
Any
So
artist in
just-
particular?
I like a lot of Green Day.
Okay.
There's too many to choose from, but I do like a Green Day.
I got to say, that was my go-to is rock, but everyone else on our team soon seemed to enjoy rap, so there's a lot of us just wearing headphones in our
Yeah.
lockers.
Yeah.
I was definitely a rock guy too. There's a few rap songs thrown in there, but rock was definitely it for me.
That was on a cassette player, right?
Well, no, it was the record still, which are coming back by the way, just going out. We all know that football has some crazy rules, whether it be ridiculous pass interference or whatever. What's one rule in football that if you could change, you would do it?
Probably block in the back. I hate getting called for that block in the back.
Yeah,
It
it's
just
always,
is a killer.
and it brings back that big drive,
Yes.
even if you're blocking the back,
The
wasn't
lightest
even
little
close.
touch.
Right. Oh no, I hear you there. I
Yeah, we
understand
had
that
a
one.
play like that a few weeks ago where a guy almost just ran past him, and they got that block in the back call, and then we had to bring that whole big play back, and it's just frustrating.
So don't get yourself in trouble here, but what is one rule that you find hard to follow in school?
We won't tell anyone.
Oh, the phone rule, the new phone rule.
I was
It's
going to say,
horrible.
I was wondering if
that
that
new
is.
phone rule is it's not fun.
My sister-in-law is also struggling with that right
Yeah.
now.
So for those who don't know, what's the new phone rule?
Pretty much nothing. Like
Yeah.
you can't have your phone. You can't. It's got to be in your pocket. Like it's got to be put away. It's got to be out of sight. Like you can't even touch your phone in school no more.
Times have changed. Speaking of times, if you could go back to any time period, what would it be?
Probably like I don't know. I feel like the '80s would be enjoyable. Be fun, good experience.
Matches your hair, goes with
Yeah,
the rock.
right. The hair.
The three of us all had the exact same thought at the same time there. What would be your superpower?
I think it'd be cool to fly. I mean, I feel like it's kind of a common answer, but flying would be awesome.
Mine's teleportation, personally.
I was just about to say, I was like, flying's great, but I just want to snap my fingers and get there.
oh, yeah, not even a question.
Mexico, Cancun,
Oh yeah,
you know?
vacations, vacations for sure.
Any hobbies outside of football or outside of sport?
Pretty much all winter long. Me and one of my best friends, we ski. That's pretty
Skiing?
much all we do. Yeah, we just go skiing all winter long.
Where do you go skiing?
We bounce around everywhere. We've been out to Wisconsin. We go up to like around Traverse City in Michigan. It's called Pine Knob. It's about 3.5 hours away over the weekends, but it's a blast. I really enjoy it.
Out of all of your years on this earth, what is your proudest achievement?
Probably not dying, honestly. I was a dumb kid. I just did a lot of stupid stuff, and like I was always getting hurt, but like never super serious. So that's cool.
I mean, it is nice when you start looking back and you're like, man, I made some really bad decisions.
Right.
I'm just glad that I made it through.
Yeah.
If you could go back in time and talk to yourself from the first time you played football, what would you tell yourself?
Eat, dude. Just like put on some weight. You're gonna be skinny for your whole life. Just put on some weight, and then just go blow dudes up.
I will say, Reed, your body type has not changed since the day I
No,
met
it really
you.
hasn't. Not much.
If you could have $1 million today or a cent doubled every day for 30 days, which would you choose?
Give me that million. I want that $1 million.
Do you have any idea what that cent doubled every day
There's
would
more,
be?
isn't it?
It's much more.
Yeah.
But it's not
I'm
that
too
instant
impatient.
gratification.
Exactly. I'm too impatient.
If you could choose, would you rather be the boss or the guy working for the boss?
Probably the boss. You get to tell people what to do.
If you could move anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
Montana. It's beautiful. I just love like the scenery. I like being outside. I'm not much of a like an indoorsy person. I enjoy being outside, and I kind of want to live in the mountains when I grow up and I'm older. So it's kind of my number one pick.
If you could grow up knowing you'd be famous, what would you be famous for?
I don't know. I'd probably just post some stupid video and go viral, and then I'd just be known for that one video, and then no one would care what I do for like the rest of my life. So
If you could correct your coaches in one way, what would it be?
no more loafs. Get them out of here. No more loafs.
Explain that to me.
A loaf is like basically when you don't try hard enough, but it can be one person, the whole team gets punished, and I don't like those. You gotta run
but
from.
it is a team sport.
It is.
But I will say, sometimes
is.
with the one kid
It's
that
that
doesn't
one.
finish the sprint,
Yeah.
and you're like, come on, man, just one more step.
Yeah.
It's a heartbreaker, especially when the entire team has to suffer for
Yes.
it. But it teaches you that you're only as strong as your weakest link.
No, yeah, for sure.
So I get it. I can understand it. If you weren't playing football, what sport would you be playing?
Probably tennis. I mean, just to do something. But
Have you ever played tennis? Do you play regularly?
oh yeah, I'm horrible. I'm really bad at tennis, but
And Wawasee just won a
Yeah.
NLC championship, right?
yeah.
That's
Our
exciting.
tennis team they did really good this year. First time being undefeated ever. And yeah.
Anytime a Wawasee can say that, you are in a very
Yeah.
select
for
amount
sure.
of people.
Yeah, for sure.
So moving forward, we have 4 games left in our season at least. 5 if we, start winning and that. So, we have 3 guaranteed, 4 with sectionals, 5 if we win the first sectional game. What is your outlook for the rest of the year? What are your goals for the rest of the season?
Be as perfect as possible at this point. I mean, it's not really my job, but I feel like it's going to help. But I feel like everyone needs to get in film. Everyone will say they're not in film, and because they don't think just watching a little video on their phone or their computer won't help. But film helps a crazy amount. Like you can run it against the scout team, but it just might not always be the exact way that this other team that you're playing runs it. So I just feel like film is a really viable source that you can use.
What are some things on the defensive side of the ball that film kind of helps you pick apart?
There's tendencies. There's a lot of tendencies, like, for instance, just say like the quarterback twitches or something before he passes, and it's just like little tiny like minute things that you can pick up on and that you can key on in the game. And it's like we have tendencies, and we'll make calls for tendencies, and that's seemingly helped us a lot. Our defense has been a lot more solid, And then just knowing your gaps, being gap sound, all that stuff is just very helpful on defense.
I remember when we were in school, I can't remember who, it might actually been Chad Epley, now that I think about it, Northridge head coach, that used to pick up on where the lineman would place his hand would be whether or not it'd be a pass, and he was almost always correct.
Place his hand or place that back foot. If the back foot was back just a tad, you'd be able to tell that they're
Or
going.
cocked out at a 45-degree angle.
Right, you could tell they're a pass block. He was good at it.
Yeah.
So you said you wanted to go for engineering, potentially Purdue, potentially Montana State. What do you want to engineer? What do you want to go into?
I'm either going to do architectural or civil engineering. Those are like just kind of the two that have piqued my interest the most throughout just like the short courses that we've had in high school.
Well, thank you, Reed, for coming and talking to us today. Coming up next, we will talk to Alex Dibble. We'll be right back with more Coach's Corner Football Show on 93.7 FM The Mix. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner Football Show with Coach Matt Thacker on 93.7 FM The Mix. And we are here live at Pat Chicago Dogs in Syracuse. And joining us is Alex Dibble. Welcome, Alex.
Hi, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, tell us a little bit about you and your family.
So me and my family, my parents are split, so growing up I've kind of been back and forth between there. When I was younger, I've lived in a few different places. I lived in Elkhart for a good while. Then I moved to Middlebury, and then after that, that's when I came here to Syracuse, and I've been here since then. And my dad, he also lived in Elkhart, but a couple of years ago now, he moved into Michigan, not too far, but just into there. Yeah. I got two siblings. I got a brother and a sister. Got a lot of step siblings.
Older or younger than you?
There's one step sibling that's younger than me. Everybody else is older than me.
So you're kind of the little guy, right?
Yeah, but it's like,
you still got one more to pick on.
Yeah, it's just like me and all my siblings. We're like pretty separated in age, so it's like we haven't really grown up that much together. So it never really felt like I was like the young one,
the one getting picked on in
yeah.
that.
No, I understand that. I have a sister and multiple step siblings, all of which are older than me, but got a few years apart from us. So I completely resonate with that. Absolutely. So to talk about football, what got you into playing the sport of football?
Well, I remember when I was in like first, second, third grade, I was at an Elkhart school, and I had this one friend, and every day at recess we'd go out and play football. And that was like the first thing that I ever did with football. And then after that, I didn't do anything with football until 7th grade. And like when I was like going through those in between years, like I told my mom I wanted to play, but she wouldn't let me. And she was like scared I'd get hurt, scared, this and that. So I don't know. It's just the sport has always seemed like really fun to me since I was a kid. I love everything about it.
What's your favorite aspect of the sport? The team, the hitting, the fast pace?
I don't really know. I like the idea of scoring, like just like the glory of like scoring and like having, or just like big plays, I should say. Just like when you make that big play, you feel like you did that. Like even though it's a team sport, everybody's doing their responsibilities, but like if you make that big tackle or that big run, like there's nothing that can rival that feeling.
You're the hero of the team on that play, right? So what position do you play?
I play outside linebacker mostly. On offense, I play H. I don't play too much of that. It's mostly just defense for me. But, yeah.
It's like getting the tackle. I like it. If you didn't play linebacker or H, what position would you play?
One position I've always wanted to play, and it was just like the idea of getting the ball, like I was talking about, is running back. That, and then the first position I wanted to play, the one that I wanted to join football for, was receiver. But one of the things I quickly learned is that I cannot catch the ball. It's been my worst attribute since I started playing football.
You just gotta stop eating that popcorn before you come to practice.
I don't know what it is, and even just today and yesterday, it's been it's bad. I don't know what it is. Drives me crazy though.
So if you could be known by 3 to 5 words in football, what would they be?
This is a hard question. Something I like to see myself as is like a strategic player. I try to keep my eyes, everywhere I can.
Very disciplined.
Yeah, like, I mean, I don't think I execute it perfectly every time, but it's something that's one of my big focuses. So like strategic, a hard hitting. It's just like I want the other side to be scared of me.
You want them to kind of flinch and kind of back away from you, right?
Yeah, I want them just be scared. Like if I'm running at them, I want them to kind of shrink up and not hit me.
And the third word? If you don't have one, that's fine.
I can't really think of any. It's hard. It's hard. I've always found it hard to describe myself.
I will say, with your description so far, linebacker seems like the perfect position for you.
I was going to say strategic and hard hitting. I mean, that's basically what you want your linebackers to be.
Has a little bit of trouble catching the ball. That's okay. You're a linebacker. You're just trying
You're
to
on
hit your
defense.
hole. Exactly. You've said you've been playing football since 7th grade, and then got playing football at recess or something in elementary school. What's your favorite memory of playing football?
Honestly, it's probably just got to be this past win against Goshen. It's it's one of the times that I've really felt like being on the varsity team, getting that win, getting that trophy. It's my senior year. It's just that's a good feeling. Get the trophy. That was.
I was watching you guys get ready for your photo, and the enthusiasm, you could almost feel it in the booth. It was just radiating off of you guys of hey, we did this. We've accomplished this.
Yeah, it was a great feeling. And I mean, it's not the first time we've ever got a trophy, obviously, but it's the first time that I have felt
responsible
it.
for it. What is your favorite subject at Wawasee?
I've always liked math and engineering, super mileage. And math goes in with engineering pretty well. Those have always been my favorite things.
If you want to go into engineering, there's going to be a lot of math.
Yeah, that's something I've always been pretty good at, and it's just I don't know. I like it way more than English, that's for sure.
I always said that I went to ENG for engineering, not English.
Yeah,
because that was the one subject that I was always terrible at.
Who would you say is your favorite teacher? And it doesn't have to be high school.
I can't really think of any teachers outside of high school, to be honest.
That's okay.
But I think I got to say Mr. Koblenz, the engineering teacher. As a freshman, he was super nice, super relaxed, always helping if I ever had a problem. And just as the years have gone, he's one of the nicest teachers. He's super relaxed, just like I said. He doesn't really have a problem with anything unless you're messing around, being an idiot. But
and talking from personal experience, Copeland's is one of those guys. Actually, just a couple of years ago, I needed help for my actual job and reached out to him. And I said, "Hey, here's what I need." He goes, "Hey, I can make this happen. Stop by the school and we'll get this done." He's one of those guys where 5-10 years down the road, you can still call him up and he's like, "Hey, how you been?" and actually cares about your future. Let's talk about your favorite school memory.
My favorite school memory. It's probably got to be it's a ski trip we went to during middle school. It was the first time I'd ever gone skiing. Still the only time I've ever gone skiing. I thought the experience was super fun. And ever since that, I've always wanted to go again. I never have, obviously. But, it was just, everything about it was fun.
My first snow trip ended about 5 seconds after I got onto the first bunny hill, sprained my ankle so bad that I ended up in the medical tent all night, and that was the first and last time I ever snow skied.
At least you can stay in and drink some nice hot chocolate on the mountain. That could be amazing.
I was warm on the bus ride home. Everyone else is freezing.
So what do you want to do after high school? Any plans?
I want to go to college for engineering, that's for sure. I'd really like to go to Michigan, I think. That's probably my favorite school. And second to that would be Purdue, just because those are two really good, engineering schools in the area. Michigan's my favorite college team.
We won't hold that against you too bad.
I grew up a Notre Dame fan. I went to IU. I've always grown up with a hatred of Michigan. But Michigan is a phenomenal school. I've heard amazing things from students that have went there.
A beautiful campus too, I will say.
It really is. Ann Arbor is a really nice town to live
Yeah,
in.
I'm going on a tour there here soon. And
That's exciting.
So I'm pretty excited for that.
Especially in like the fall and early spring. I mean, it is just gorgeous. There's beautiful backdrops. You have beautiful buildings, and it's a pretty well laid out campus. I will say there's some bad ones in the Big Ten that you're like, man, this is kind of cumbersome, but they have a good layout. This senior class has said that they want to leave behind a legacy and lay the groundwork for success here at Wawasee. What personally do you want to leave behind?
I wanna leave behind, like I said earlier, just like being strategic, being disciplined. Like, I mean, sometimes it's okay to have like a linebacker or a running back who just like runs straight into like, their gap or whatever. But making sure that you're like doing your job, that's one of the most important things in football, because you got to rely on all your teammates to be doing their job. You got to rely on yourself to do your job, because that's how you get the plays done.
What motivates you and drives you to stay motivated?
What was that? Sorry.
What motivates you and drives you to stay motivated?
I think winning. It's something that it feels great, just winning.
Winning is one of those things too. Like the first time you get that taste of it, it's like I need more of this. I got to keep going until I win more.
Yeah, there's so much glory in it. It feels amazing.
I mean, it radiates off. You were talking earlier with the accepting the trophy. When we were talking to Coach earlier, they were just over here fist bumping each other when we were talking about the stats. No punts, 3 for 3 for the 4th down. So it really just shows that it brings out the best in you, basically.
What does your pregame playlist look like?
There's really nothing like specific to it. It's kind of just like all the music I like. So there's everything from like rap to rock to like indie music to like pretty much anything you can think of, except for country.
Yeah. Country. I don't know. I've only heard a couple players name country, and it was never a genre that I could really get psyched up for.
It's not a genre that I would listen to for a pregame playlist, that's for sure. I do love country myself, but doesn't hype me up at all. What is one rule in football that you would love to change?
I'd say probably holding. I mean, it kind of hurts me. I
was gonna say a linebacker wanting to get rid of holding.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that's.
I've had experience in like playing tight end and like blocking people, and still on just offense. You got to block people, and it's like sometimes it's like you barely hold a guy, or you don't even hold him sometimes, and you get called for it, and it's like such a defeating flag, because like it's something so small.
Do you have any hobbies outside of football?
I wrestle and play baseball. I like to work on my car. That's something that I've picked up recently. Just whatever I can get my hands on, to be honest.
That's actually what started me into engineering. Was my dad used to pull me out and say, hey, we're going to do this brake job. We're going to do this on the car, and kind of got me into, hey, I like pulling things apart and putting them back together.
If you could have a superpower of any kind, what would it be?
I think it's got to be flight for sure. Just because like you're able to, like you can fly anywhere. I mean, it's not like you're instantly there, but like you have the ability to go wherever. That's really it.
Now, you had the benefit of us asking Reed this before and knowing the answer here, but if you could have $1 million today or 1 cent doubled over the month, what would you choose?
I would choose a cent. Even before hearing Reed's answer, I was thinking about it earlier, looking down through the questions. I did a little bit of quick math. I was like, yeah, I'm for sure taking that cent. I know it seems slow at the start, and you got to wait a little bit, but by the end of it, you're going to be,
well off.
Yeah.
If you could move anywhere in the world, where would it be and why?
I'd really like to live in somewhere like Oregon or Washington. I like coastal places, and just like the scenery there. It's just like, I don't know, it's super nice. I like the weather. It's just.
My sister recently came out and moved to Portland, Oregon, and she's been sending me pictures. And I got to say, I've never been to Oregon. I've only been to Seattle for about a day, and it was absolutely breathtaking, the scenes of fall in the background. So, if you could be a boss or employee, what would you be and why?
I think I'd want to be a boss for sure. I mean, I get to choose my responsibilities. I mean, I got to do a lot of the important work, but I could slack off if I feel like it every so often.
Yeah, but you got to also, put everyone on your shoulders and kind of carry them, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's just I don't like being assigned jobs.
If you could travel back in time and talk to yourself the first time you ever played football, what would you tell yourself?
Definitely to stop thinking so much. Just go out there and play. I mean, it kind of hits heads with how I was saying discipline and stuff, but I find myself overthinking a lot of plays and not going in there and just trying to do my job.
Well, thank you for joining us, Alex. Next, we will talk about tonight's contest against Northridge. We'll be right back with more Coach's Corner football show on 93.7 FM The Mix. Welcome back to the Coach's Corner football show with Coach Matt Thacker on 93.7 FM The Mix. And we are here live at Pat's Chicago Dogs in Syracuse. In segment 4, we are going to talk about tonight's contest against the Northridge Raiders. Now, Coach, you may know this, and we just mentioned this in our last segment, but Riley and I's former teammate is actually Chad Epley, which is the head coach of Northridge. And I got to tell you, he has always been one for discipline. What can you say about this Northridge team coming up this or tonight?
Well, I mean, if you watch them on film, you're absolutely correct. They're very disciplined, very well coached. I mean, they're going to run the ball. They're going to do their best to stop the run. And they're going to be amped up and ready to go. Every time, I can remember when you guys and coaching against you guys when I was at Warsaw, and remember Coach Epley playing, and you guys did an outstanding job back then. So he continued to do that. He played at UIndy, and I mean, not with Coach Leach, but Coach Leach played a little bit earlier before him, I believe. Definitely has transpired into a heck of a high school coach. I mean, first year he's at Northridge, takes to a state championship game, so he definitely knows what he's doing, and they've definitely developed a culture and a winning mindset over there. So it'll definitely be a big challenge for us.
So just looking through some of the stats, they're having a little bit of a rougher year than they were in the first couple years under Chad, but they have just about a 50-50 passing, rushing offense. So what is it, something that has to change this week according to some of their offensive schemes that they run?
Well, I mean, we're going to have to pay attention to their tendencies. We've done a great job of utilizing their tendencies on the field for our guys. So we're going to have to continue to do that and understand the situations, whether it be a down and distance situation, whether it be first down or second and long or third and short, fourth and short. Understanding the time of the game, it's 3rd and 6, and they just crossed the 50-yard line, or they're close to the 50-yard line. They might go on 2. Okay, I don't have a real big problem with guys jumping off. On when it's 3rd and 1, 3rd and 6, you want your guys going forward and getting off the football. But once, I get it. Twice, you kind of have to hold your water a little bit and be a little more disciplined. So hopefully, in those situations and understanding those situations inside the game will help us out on Friday.
Northridge, we talked about them being disciplined, and obviously they're going to want to, establish the line of scrimmage. And last week, Wawasee did extremely well against the running, negative 29 rushing yards last week. Wow. How does that kind of give you confidence in your defense going into this week?
We read our keys. We played discipline. We played within ourselves. We took care of what we needed to take care of up front. It'll have to be the same thing this week. We've got to get off the ball. We've got to maintain leverage. We've got to be gap sound when it comes to being whatever gap you're supposed to be in, and not trying to do too much. Do your job, let your teammate do his job, and we saw what that what that process looks like last week. So if we can continue to do that, we can continue to have success going forward.
So we talked before the game last week about having only, I believe it was 3 players that are playing both sides of the ball, and obviously there was a lot more of the energy left at the latter half of that game, being that you only had 3 players playing on both sides. How does that go into this game against Northridge this week?
Well, also having a lead, kind of helps energy, momentum,
Most
and all that
definitely.
stuff too. So if we're able to have a lead, I think you can throw out the fact that they have 0 two-way players and the fact that we have 3 presently. It just is what it is right now. If you're able to grab the momentum and grab the lead with the score, everybody forgets about how tired they are. If you're up, 36-7, everybody forgets how tired you are. Everybody wants to be on the field. So if we can get to that point Friday night, I don't. There's not real much thought into it. If you're on the other side of it, then you kind of reflect on that and see how you can negate that. But at this point in time, being thinking positive of it and thinking negative of it, there's really not much you can do it right now.
Last week, you walked us through the odd front, or that 3-3-5 defense that Goshen was running. What kind of defense will Northridge kind of line up with?
They want to play a 3-4. They've stemmed last week against Mishawaka. In the past, they bring up their outside linebackers. This week or last week, they've kind of messed around, with moving their defensive front, before the snap or on the snap or right before the snap, and dropping the backside or the boundary side outside linebacker off the line a little bit, and also dropping down a safety and making it look like a 6-2. And all that does is it's designed to create confusion and designed to get you to think. And as long as we run our rules, all you have to do is go. So, they've had struggles with defending the triple option in the past. So hopefully we can expose some of those things. Not saying we will, just kind of, from what we've seen and what we can do, I think we can. It's just a matter of execution now.
Speaking of that, so they just played Mishawaka in their scheduling that plays a very similar offense to how we run here. With the recent success of the offense with Benji back there and Cam running as well, how does the fact that they just played Mishawaka play into their ability to play with us on Friday?
I definitely think it makes them better. They've seen it. Mishawaka's 15. Let's see. Yeah, 15, 16 years into running the flex bone. So,
Wow.
Yeah, so Mishawaka has a gigantic leap as far as experience and what we have. So that's big. They're able to do some things that I see that wow, that'd be really nice to do. And eventually we'll be able to do that. But at this point in time, we want guys to play as fast as we possibly can, and not inundate guys with too much verbiage, too much thought process. We want our guys to play fast. We want them to play without thinking. So and that part takes time, and that's still part of the process of it. So, we're not even a total year into what we're doing offensively, and Mishawaka's done this for 15, 16 years. So
It's almost down to the gene pool at that point, right?
yes, I mean those guys have. Their brothers, their uncles, their cousins have been running that same offense for a long time, and and when that happens, when you get to that phase of it, it's a lot of fun to watch. Especially in high school football. I mean, I can see where college football, it's a little bit longer. It's too much speed in the pro game to run it, but at the high school level, it can be a beautiful thing to watch.
What are some of the players on Northridge's offensive side of the ball that we need to be aware of?
Well, their fullback, number 32, He's a very hard runner. And I definitely have to look out for him. Their quarterback, number 12, does a good job of, he's a sophomore. He does a good job of doing things within the offense. He doesn't make mistakes. If we can do some things to help him make mistakes, that would be ideal. Defensively, number 9, I can't remember his name, but the young man is a stud defensive lineman, defensive end for him. Reminds me of number 9 from West Noble. He's just a little taller and thicker than the young man from West Noble, probably a little faster. Defensively, they're pretty sound. Their 2 inside linebackers are pretty sound. Their defensive line is pretty sound. Their safeties are really good. Corners are a little younger, but they definitely are there for a reason. So, their offensive line, they have pretty good size with a couple of those guys. But if we can get off the ball and use our speed and quickness, we could have some success in the backfield as well.
So coming off a win, going against Northridge, we were 3 for 3 in the 4th down. Tried to go for the onside, didn't work out. Do you have anything saddled up to be able to potentially utilize in this game coming up?
Oh, you always have something in your back pocket. Last week we had things ready to go. It just didn't play out that way, whether it was because of the weather or it was just because of the scenario, because of the score, But this is a new week. This is a new opportunity. So we have a few things, dialed up, from the practice script wise. But we'll see how it goes. And, it'd be, it's always nice to run something you haven't done and have success with it. So.
How does, obviously last game we were able to hold the ball for well over a quarter during one drive. How is that kind of leading into this week going and saying, hey, you've now demonstrated that you're able to, efficiently run this offense down a field. This is what the new standard needs to be.
Well, yeah, if you go all the way back to the West Noble game, we had a drive of 20 plays. Obviously we can do it. And obviously the goal is to, if we could have at least one 20-play drive game.
That's got to make coach's heart happy, right?
Oh, yeah. But one 20-play drive in a game, that takes up so much time. That gives you extra possessions, and you're just wearing on a team. And when you're able to do that, we saw glimpses of it in Plymouth, at the Plymouth game when before we fumbled right there and it's around the 15-yard line. You could hear it from the Plymouth kids. They were sick and tired of, getting ran at and, getting 3-4 yards and still being on the field. Same thing happened when you're running 23 plays last week against Goshen. Same thing happened against West Noble. So if we can have that consistency and have big drives like that and finish against a quality team like Northridge, it could be a fun night.
Yeah, it just goes to tell, looking back at that previous game, you had 250 yards between 2 players, but the longest run either of them had was 10 yards. That's a lot of yards, a lot of plays, but not even one that's like this major 40-yard explosion, just all timing. And we talked in the last game, you're taking, of the 40 seconds you're given, 20, 30, 35 seconds before that ball's even snapped. How crucial is that 20-plus yard play then to be able to control the game in the next one?
It definitely gives the opponent something to worry about. Hey, these guys can kill the clock. These guys can have a 4-minute drive. They can have a 6-minute drive. They can have an 8-minute drive. They can have a 10-minute drive. They can have a 12-minute drive. We have to play discipline, and if we don't do that, then they're going to take everything that they have and they're going to make it as long and as painful as they can on you, for as long as that may be. So that's good for us going forward. And, people looking at us going forward could be like, really thinking we really do have to prepare for these guys because they're going to grit it out and they're going to try to churn out first downs, keep their offense on the field. And, like I said, last week didn't give us an opportunity to throw a different wrinkle at Goshen. So some of those wrinkles have yet to be shown. So maybe we can get some explosive plays this week.
Any final thoughts for Northridge?
You know, again, we just have to stay disciplined, do our jobs, and not get overwhelmed when something doesn't necessarily go our way. You know, if we have a holding call, if we have a block in the back, if we have, somebody jumps offside, things like that are going to happen. You know, it's not a perfect game. It's football, and there's a lot of things that are going to happen. So as long as we don't get, overwhelmed with the positives and overwhelmed with the negatives, and just keep, even keel, it could be a great night for us Friday night.
Well, thank you, Coach Thacker, for coming and talking with us, as well as Reed Reidenbach and Alex Dibble, and allowing us to talk some Wawasee Warrior football. And thank you to the staff of Pat's Chicago Dogs for hosting and feeding us. Their support for our school is amazing, and their food and service is always awesome. Coming up next, the Warriors are on the road at Northridge. Myself, Riley Price, and Joshua Pulaski will have the call. This has been the Coach's Corner Football Show on 93.7 FM The Mix.